What's up, everybody? Well, got another gameplay video for you guys today. We're doing Fight Sim again, but this time at Ultrawide, and specifically 3440 by 1440. And then it's a 120Hz monitor. And it has G-Sync, but that doesn't help us here. This is an AMD card. So, now let's just get started and see how it does. Alright, time for ultra-wide settings here at low. As we start off in every video I've done, always start at low and move our way up. Rendering resolution, everything is correct right off the rip this time. We're on low end. Just quickly breeze through these. And now we can move on with gameplay. Okie dokie. Now we're doing some gameplay here. Kind of like with 1440p, it seems like on low we're getting pretty good FPS and pretty good frame times. And I gotta say, this game definitely looks really immersive in ultra-wide. Obviously the terrain and clouds and all that don't look super photorealistic while we're on low, but the plane itself looks pretty decent. It's about time to hop into the cockpit now. I've already gone around the plane enough. Now we can look around here. You can definitely see a lot more on this resolution. I mean, definitely should. I mean, you got way more space on both sides. Yep. I figured I would try to do it, but nope. Every time I try to mess with anything in this plane, I did a guy, did a girl. It's just like, nope, you've crashed. You would have killed us all. What are you doing, you maniac? But no big deal. I was never planning on being a pilot, luckily. But this is still an interesting experience. And the person who wanted to see how this game runs gets to see how it runs on various different resolutions and whatnot, so they can make an informed decision on whether or not this laptop's for them. But now we move on to camera. Alright, doing some camera recorded 3440 by 1440 low settings here. I decided to kind of restart the whole thing here. Definitely got good sound effects in this game. No, I don't want to. Last time I tried to do that, I crashed the plane, so no, I'm not doing that. Alright, we're about to a minute. Let's cruise on back to cockpit view real quick. Just take a quick look around in here. All of our gauges and whatnot. No idea what any of these do.
Go ahead and gently pull back on the yoke.
As we've already discussed, lady, that's just not going to happen.
Maintain that attitude.
Back out the front window. But so far it seems to be running a lot smoother on the external monitor. I'm doing 3440 by 1440 first before I move to normal 1440p, just because, you know, it's easier to make the video. The laptop sits right next to it the whole time. So then I usually move it over to the 1440p, and then before I put it back up there, I'll put it on the 4 real quick and do the 4K test. Either way, though, I'm just rambling on. It's time to get to the next graphics setting. Moving on to medium now. All the stuff at the top will always stay the same. We got our global rendering quality at medium. So now let's quickly check all this stuff out so we can get to gameplay. Alright, I pretty much flew through this one. Let's get into that gameplay. Okay. Medium gameplay now. We've already dropped down to 60. We're getting a little bit more stutters here and there, but I would still call that relatively decently smooth frame times. So definitely still playable, at least on medium ultra wide. Some rivers and stuff down there. Look at the sky real quick, look at the clouds. Now we can look down at the terrain. Alright, now let's see what we got inside. Man, the people who made this game put a lot of detail into planes. Although I guess you kind of have to if it's going to be a sim. You can't just have stuff looking sort of alright, you know? Yeah, we got it about 80% of the way there. Yeah, that doesn't generally work in sims. But, still, very impressed nonetheless. Alright. Out in front here, we got a little compass up there too, instead of a review mirror. I guess you don't really need a review mirror up in the sky. And alright, I say it's time to move on to camera gameplay now. Alright, now we're on to medium settings. Let's start on the outside of the plane again. I wanted to. Yeah, this game definitely looks pretty interesting on an ultra-wide monitor, that's for sure. Alright, let's go into the cockpit now. Oh, you see the shine of clouds and the reflection on the wing. That's pretty cool.
Go ahead and gently pull back on the yoke. When the climb attitude line matches the horizon, maintain that attitude. Gently pull back on the yoke. When the climb attitude line matches
I can definitely see why people that know what they're doing like this game. That's for sure. Not really my cup of tea, but that's why different games exist. Because not everybody likes the same thing as I do. And they don't like the same thing that other people do. And so on and so forth.
Go ahead and gently pull
And that's
back
cool.
on the yoke.
At least I figured out a way to test this. I was worried, because there's no way I would be able to fly this if it wasn't just kind of like flying around in circles. But anyway, let us move on. Now we can see how high we'll do. So if we were already that close to going under 60 all the time at medium, I don't have high hopes for high. Pun intended. Alrighty. Just got to the bottom of the list here, and now we move on. Okay. Now we'll see how high does. And like I thought, we are well under 60 FPS. The frame times are okay-ish, considering we're not at current constant frame rate. At least they're not going up to like 70 milliseconds and stuff like I've seen into in a couple other settings on a couple other resolutions. Game definitely starting to look a lot more impressive, especially the clouds. Clouds are starting to look more realistic. Terrain is definitely looking a lot better. We're off to this direction here. Alright, let's look off to this direction now. Alright, now the cockpit view. Let's look out the windows and whatnot like we have been doing. It's really weird. For some reason, she is very quiet when I'm recording. I've seen that happen in a couple other games too. Like the people during a cutscene just won't either have voices, or they'll be really, really quiet. I don't understand that. Maybe it's got something to do with like digital rights or something like that. Who knows? Alright, let's just take a quick look at the round floor and the seats and whatnot. And with that, it is time to move on to camera. Alright, now we're doing camera on high. Definitely dropping well under 60 now, but
Go ahead and gently pull back.
it is what it is. Still wanted to test it at this for you guys.
Line matches the horizon. Maintain that attitude.
It's definitely got some weird frame times on high again. I think high is just has some weird setting this laptop doesn't like. I swear it gets better frame times on ultra than it does on high.
Go ahead and gently pull back on the yoke. The climb attitude line matches the horizon. Maintain that attitude.
About the windows and whatnot here. Do not open the window above 143 knots. Okay, don't know how to do it anyway, so I won't.
Go ahead and gently pull back on the yoke. The climb attitude line matches the horizon. Maintain that attitude.
Go around the outside plane. Look out over all this stuff. The ground is definitely starting to look better. More detailed.
Go ahead and
Our frame rate is definitely suffering, but in fact, this is one of those games where if you want everything to look pretty, you're probably not getting 60 FPS on too much of anything if you crank everything up to high and ultra. At least not on a laptop. But anyway, let us move on to Ultra now and see how that runs. And last but not least, we'll do Ultra. Everything's the same up there, just the global rendering is different. And everything here besides like terrain level is like maxed. Okay, almost at the bottom, and there we go. Now we can move on to some gameplay. Okay. And now we are on Ultra. Ultra on Ultrawide. Yeah, this game definitely looks really, really good on Ultra. I just wish it could do 60 FPS at the same time. But I guess I'm starting to get a little overzealous once we start getting up to the ultra-wide resolutions and the 4K. It can do some stuff, yes, but no one should buy this expecting every game to run flawlessly at ultra-wide, like maxed out anyway. So far, there's very few games that don't run at 60 FPS, at least on just high settings. And if you kill stuff like anti-aliasing on resolutions like that, you can get a lot of frames back. I always just do the slider, which almost always gives you anti-aliasing and whatnot, and makes that usually go up. This game, it seems to stay the same no matter what, so this game is the exception to the rule on that one. Okay, let's go into the cockpit now and just cruise around like we have been. Man, you can even see the clouds reflecting on the like dash and stuff. You can see like the carpet, fibers. Man. Very detailed on Ultra. Look out the windows real quick. There you see the clouds and the wing reflection. Sweet. Do not open. There's our seats. There's the dash. And now it's time for us to move on. Okay, finally Ultra. Camera recorded. Start on the outside of the plane. Just look forward at first. This game definitely looks really, really nice at Ultra. It's definitely hard to run on Ultra, that's for sure. We're only getting like 42 FPS right now. Oh, we're in the 30s now. Man. Well, alright, let's hop on in the cockpit view now. Yeah, everything in here is super detailed. That is for sure. Probably doesn't show up great on the camera portion, but I'm sure you saw how detailed it looked on the screen recorded portion. Little storage pockets back there. It's even got itself a little trunk.
Go ahead and gently pull back on the yoke. When the climb attitude line matches the horizon, maintain that attitude.
Well, alright. I'd say with that, it's about time to wrap this video up. And that concludes this video. It definitely dropped under 60 quite quickly at ultra-wide, but I was kind of expecting it to. But it kind of seems like it's the kind of game where not very many computers, unless you're running like 3090s and 3080s and 6800 XTs and 6900 XTs, you're going to be able to max that game out and still get over 60. Heck, for all I know, those ones might not even be able to do that. This is a very demanding game. It still was pretty smooth, at least on Ultra, once you stopped screen recording. Still had some stutters here and there, but I'd still say it did pretty good considering how demanding this game is. I'm very excited to see how it does at 4K now. I wonder if I was really right about it dropping down into the 15s and 20 FPSs. We'll see. But with that, wrap this video up. Hopefully you guys liked this video, and until the next one, peace out, guys.